Hello, so I'm going to talk today about creating a dashboard in Power BI for Lab 4 um, of Comp 2099. So in this lab, we are going to create an interactive dashboard using 4 charts in Power BI. And so I'm going to choose the data set, create the background in Power BI, present the relevant changes, the charts, modify the filters and visualizations, and create the story. So in regards to the open data set, I did choose to use a data set that I used in a previous lab. And the reason I chose this data set again for the coffee chain is due to the financial data. Part of the financial data actually breaks down according to states. And I wanted to use that because there's a map function in Power BI that I wanted to implement. Previously, I used the dates 2013, 2012 as comparisons, but this time I won't do that. And then I also received for my background in Power BI, I used 2 photos from Pixabay, and I combined them together for the coffee beans and leaves because the data is regards to coffee and leaves. Working with Power BI, it's new to me, so I reviewed the YouTube video that was provided, and I also did some additional research because I wanted to know how to calculate the fields I, in within the actual Power BI, and it was really neat. I watched another YouTube video here. This is the link to the YouTube video that I watched, so that I could try and duplicate what the profit was on one of my charts. So to do that, I actually went into the table view and I created a new column. And in that new column, I put this information, which was the sales minus the cost of goods and the total expenses for each item. And this is the actual information that I put into the table to give me the orange line. The burgundy line is actually the net profit. So while in Power BI, like I said, stated earlier, I wanted to use the states to use the map function for my dashboard. And when I did try to first use it, I did run into a bit of an issue, and it told me that I had to actually allow the map function to work. So I went into the options, security, and I turned on the map, use map, and fill map visuals so that I could actually use it within my Power BI dashboard. Another issue that I ran into, because the dates were just 2012 and 2013, they weren't being recognized as dates. So I went in and I tried to change them. Originally, they were recognized as numbers. And then I went in and I tried to change it to the date. So, but what was happening is that it was taking the date 2012 and it was creating July 4th, 1905, and it was taking the date 2013 and creating July 5th, 1905. So the only way that I could get around that so that I could actually use the date field was I converted the dates to text fields so that it actually created 2 separate items. But right here where I said date type, date, it set it to July 4th, 1905 and July 5th, 1905. So I had to get around that by using the text fields. One of the things that I did do, I really did like using the modifiers within Power BI. So here you can see this is a graph that I had created. I didn't like the way it turned out. I liked the fact that you could just go in, right click, and you could reset all the settings to default to start back to the way it was originally created, and this was it. Um, and then also within the modifiers, I wanted to um, use the product and the product line. But in here, I also know that within Excel, we use the percentage. So if you just right click on the actual field, you could show the value as the percentage as opposed to the count, the percent of the grand total, which is what I did for this pie chart. And then whenever we were using the filters also, I like the fact that you could change it to just create a table based on leaves as opposed to create a table based on beans and leaves. You could go in and you could do some basic filtering within the filtering section for each category or each column. So for example, this was the product line, and I just wanted to show information based on leaves, so I could change the filtering to do so. Um, Another thing that I really like to use was the visualizations. I'm just going to pause. Okay, sorry about that. But I just wanted to go over the visualizations in regards to formatting the page. So for example, the page information, or sorry, for example, the transparency, I put the transparency down fairly low so that the background was a little bit lighter than my actual data on my dashboard. You can also use the visualizations to change the text that you're using and do a little bit of formatting on the page to make your dashboard look nice. So when I was finished with, and I use the visualizations also throughout my graphs, but this is my completed dashboard. So with the map, the visualizations with um, my modified column, which I wanted to use. And then, of course, this visualization just used tea leaves. So I took the product ID and I took out the beans information so that I could just see the types of leaves that were being sold. And then here you can see that the lemon flavor was actually a high seller. And then over here, these were my sales according to leaves and beans. So in conclusion, I used the data set in the video. I like how the instructor merged two data sets. That's something that I wanted to see happen. And it's nice to see that it is a possibility in Power BI. I enjoyed the calculations within the columns as I talked about. I believe Power BI has many options. I didn't import additional data. However, I may go over this as my own process. And I'll use Power BI for the larger project that we're going to be doing at the end of the year. And there's a lot of resources that are accessible for Power BI, which I found by going online and searching. I'm just going to open up Power BI just to kind of go over my interactions. So this was the visualizations, and also just to go a little bit further on the visualizations, you can see here that you can turn off data, turn on data. This is all dealing with this chart because I'm actually on this chart. I could turn off the legend if I didn't want it. I could turn back on the legend if I want to continue to use it. But also the title, you can change the title under the general tab. So there's some title, and this is where I set the title, which is cost of goods sold. But as you can see here too, there's a lot of things that you can do, but I just wanted to kind of click on, if I click on this, for example, California, this how it will show the interaction. So in California, this is the amount of beans and leaves that we sold, and this is the target profit, which actually goes down if I wanted to choose another state, for example. This was also a big seller. New York was also a big seller, and you can see the difference. And as I click on each location, it will change the rest of my charts. One thing I did notice is that if I just go here to this state, for example, Nevada, they definitely sold more tea than beans. Um, this was kind of a little bit the same. If I was comparing against tea and beans, again, the state sold more beans than leaves. and this just kind of shows the interaction that I have. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my presentation. And I just wanted to apologize for my cold. I don't sound the best. I'm a little bit slower on doing my explanations, but that's about it. Thanks.